Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike, and I'm going to throw it over to Dr. Sheila White to introduce our person of the week, and then we'll come back with Ken Bentley for our extended session today on the human cost of war. Dr. White, Professor Salat is all yours.
Good morning. Good morning, Lightning Strike. Good morning, Professor. Well, today our special guest, our person of the week, has done something very unique. He built a movement on a simple concept, but very powerful concept. $1 can change lives. After migrating to the U.S. in the mid 30s and in the early 90s, Abid went from earning his GED to building a remarkable professional journey, including every member as a member of a visiting professor at a senior project manager, at AT&T. Today, he leads a mission that has raised over 1 million in just 4 years and 5 months with only 5%, 5 and 38% overhead, ensuring nearly every dollar that's raised goes directly to those in need. It's based in the Chicago area, and his work is a powerful example of how small, consistent giving can create extraordinary impact. So let's dive into this journey. Welcome a bit to the Lightning Strike this morning. Welcome.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys. It's a big honor. I believe that it's going to be recognized and will be a motivation for many people that how this works. So briefly, I'll just give you a brief, unique background I have got is that when I landed in the United States, I came here in my mid 30s, as you said. However, when I left my country, India, I just had finished my high school there. I landed here and with my wife and my three kids, and with a travel industry background of about 18 years.
Mm.
However, I had this passion of going back to school. So when I wanted to go back to school, they looked at my credentials and told me that I have not completed my high school here. So I had to start from scratch and my GED. And then I went back to, I was a DeVry student for 4.5 years, managing a family of five with working two jobs and then going to school and then coming out of that with summa cum laude. And
Mm.
my goal was short term was to get my master's started within 6 months, and my long term goal was to come back and teach at DeVry. And I did that. So for 15 years, while working full time at AT&T, I was working. I got the job as soon as I graduated from DeVry in telecommunications management. I got a job at Meritech that turned into
Mhm.
SBC, that turned into AT&T, and I worked there for about 23 years while working as a part-time professor, visiting professor at DeVry for about 15 years. However, in
Oh.
2020, there was a big, massive reorganization happened, and that led to my being surplused. And at that
Mm.
point of time, I was about 2 years away from my retirement, and I thought to myself that I've worked enough, about 47 years of my career into the workforce. I said I
Yeah.
need to do something different and do something for the humanity. So started with a small effort of providing a very known personal families who were kind of very hard earned. They didn't have any means to support themselves. So started providing them with uh, groceries for a full month of groceries in India. And it was $40 that will feed them for 4 to 5 people for a month
Wow.
with the exchange rate. So, and then when I just kind of mentioned to my contacts, they really got intrigued and they said, "Hey, why don't we kind of join you?" So I started that in 2020, but it started so much influx of people joining me that I had to become registered 501(c)(3) non-profit organization with tax exempt, IRS approved, and got this foundation called Darul Infaq Foundation. So briefly, I'll tell you what infaq means. Darul Infaq means house of charity. Infaq is an Arabic word mentioned in the Quran multiple times, and it is one of the favorite words of Allah in the Quran. And he likes
Okay.
that we spend from what we have been given to us on the people who really need it. So that is what the foundation talks about, to go and work with them and give them food so that they can be strong enough to go and earn their living. And in the Bible, it says, service to humanity is service to God. So that was
Mm,
my passion. And then that kind of, with my contacts, with my social contacts, it it started kind of making me known. Okay, like we know somebody who we can trust, and they started coming in. So I had to, really kind of. I never thought that I was running a business. Honestly, I was a nine
mm.
to five person.
Okay.
I was a professor. I was just kind of going to do this and go home. But now my wife says that I have had worked two jobs and gone to school. I gave her some time, but now with this thing, I'm 24 by 7 busy, and I have hardly enough time to talk to her. And recently, she wanted to tell me something, and she sat next to me for 2 hours, and I was on the phone. And when I was done, it was kind of getting late. I said, "Hey, you know what? I need to go back. I'll go up and sleep." And she said, "I've been waiting to talk to you for 2 hours." I said, "Okay, we'll go up and talk while we go out before we go to bed." So, it started, as you said, that with a small effort, dollar a day goes a long way. That's my slogan. Dollar a day goes a long way. And as our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, peace be upon him, said, consistency is more than 1,000 miracles. So if you
Mm,
tell somebody to run 10 miles in a day, he will run. He will finish
mm,
it. But if you tell him run 1 mile a day for 10 days, he will not do it. So
mm,
that is the thing. So when I ask anybody $30 a month, it becomes easy for them. It's doable.
mm,
And when they hear
mm.
that this is providing to groceries for a full month of groceries for families, so they just joined me, and it's just pouring in. And now we are supporting about 250 families over,
Wow.
Besides that, we are also doing, self dependence, making them self-sufficient, education, medical treatments, helping out with so many different aspects. Whenever emergency relief happens, we are there. We contribute to every cause that is local in US as well as global. So
Yes.
that's the basic background.
Well, that's a mouthful right there. House of Charity, serving humanity. That's what we need, and that's the reason, Muhammad, why I'm so happy that we have guests like this on the lightning strike, because these are real people. We talk about boots on the ground. These are people that are out there helping serve humanity, and that's what it's going to take. Because even our administration is not getting this by cutting a lot of benefits. So I'm so grateful to you, Professor, to be on today to share the work that you're doing. You're making an impact. You're making a difference. And I want to turn it over to Muhammad at this point, because I know you've impacted his life in a lot of ways.
Okay.
He's spoken very well of you. Go ahead, Muhammad.
Well, we go way back, Sheila. We go back 3 generations. We've been family friends.
Mm,
Okay, and I'm so glad to see that he's doing what he's doing. And it's
yes.
20 minutes, 22 minutes past the hour, folks, and we'd like to come back with Ken. But hey, I helped to start that nonprofit. Don't forget that.
Yes, yes, yes. He was one of my mentors, or one of my counselor. I can say he helped me out, and I'm really thankful for you
Okay.
guys that you brought me in here and people could hear me what my mission
Yes.
is. So everybody who wants to join, you can join me on LinkedIn, and you can see what my work is, and my website, darulinfaq.org.
Okay, can you
Thank you.
repeat that website also, please?
Darulinfaq.org.
Okay, so it is
ORG. Yeah.
DARUL.
UINFAQ.
.org. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, folks. You are tuned in to the Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Muhammad Fahim. Our guest, our person for the week is Professor Abid Solat. Sheila, thank you so much for bringing him in. And folks, if you have any questions, feel free to call in 773-763-9278 or WCPT